Wakefield Westgate wasn't the city's first station, as this accolade goes to the nearby Kirkgate station. And Westgate has certainly cycled through a few versions in its time. The original station from 1856 was almost immediately replaced with another in 1867. And so in the 1960s, to celebrate 100 years of the station, it was almost completely demolished to make way for, well, a lacklustre replacement. And now that one has gone too. So the question remains, how's Wakefield Westgate these days? Welcome to Wakefield and welcome to Wakefield Westgate, which is just over there. And it's a modern station that when I was commuting to Leeds regularly from the southwest, you come through Wakefield and it was an old station and they were currently rebuilding it to build this. And I thought I'd come today to have a closer look at how they actually got on with completing the work and making the new station, with the added bonus that I can catch an InterCity 225 from here down to King's Cross. So that's leaving in about 20 minutes. So I suggest we get in, have a little look round and then jump on our 225. Well, outside the station there's car, taxi and bus facilities, and everything's on the level, which is very nice to see. There's the usual shops and of course the obligatory Greggs, and it's also lovely to see a well-serviced ticket and information desk, which I'm pleased to say the current government has failed to close. Well, it's not a fancy station, but that black tiling should keep its looks for many years, and you know what? It seems to work for Wakefield. Wakefield is blessed with roughly a half-hourly LNER service to London, which is delivered mostly by 9-coach Hitachi Azumas. But every now and again, one is provided that's using the older InterCity 225 stock, and that's why we are here today. Along platform 1, this little bit of wall on the left is from the original 19th century station, as also are the buildings over on platform 2. And here's our 225 set, led today by the driving van trailer. And I'm loving the styling that is in keeping with the train's original swallow livery from the 1990s. I don't have a reservation, so let's just hop on here. Now, this first-class coach has the classic Mark IV configuration of 2+1 and then 1+2 seating, with some airline but many table seats. And whilst I settle in, it must be time to look at a map. Our 225 will head southeast to Doncaster, where it will pick up the main East Coast Main Line, where it will spend a good deal of time at 125 miles per hour or 200 kilometres per hour as it runs fast through Retford, Newark and Grantham before the final intermediate stop at Peterborough. After that, there's just one final stop at London King's Cross. Wakefield to London is 283 kilometres or 176 miles, and it should take us 2 hours, giving an average speed of 141 kilometres per hour or 88 miles per hour. Not bad, but no, despite the name, it will never get close to 225 kilometres per hour on this trip. Just beyond the station, the Westgate curve provides the link to Wakefield Kirkgate station, and then we pass over the line which will eventually lead you to Manchester Victoria. It's only 10 minutes to Doncaster, but the attentive crew have already brought me a complimentary sandwich, some crisps and also a rather nice chocolate hazelnut mousse for dessert. At Doncaster North Junction, we join the main East Coast Main Line and continue on south into the station.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're shortly now should be arriving into Doncaster. Doncaster will be the next stop for this service. LNER service for London King's Cross.
And on leaving Doncaster past Hitachi's maintenance depot, I'm offered a pretty decent can of beer too. So now, let's move on to the star of the show, this lovely Mark IV interior. Well, legroom is just fine, and below the ample table is a 3-pin power plug. There's space for luggage behind the seats and also in the generous overhead racks, where you'll also find reading lights. And the seats, with their adjustable recline, they are fantastic. You know what? I'll drink to that. And outside there's a lot of evidence of the heavy rain the UK continues to get. And inside, at speed, well, these older Mark IVs definitely now have a few rattles, but the ride is very smooth indeed. A little bit of the history of these InterCity 225s. These trains were procured to be the flagships of the newly electrified East Coast Main Line. Electric running reached York by 1989 and it was through to Edinburgh in 1991. Each set is powered by a Class 91 electric locomotive, and they turned out to be the last locomotives to be built at Crewe Works. In common with the Optimism on the West Coast Main Line, the train has a design top speed of 140 miles per hour, which is tellingly 225 kilometres per hour. And therefore, with the old HSTs being branded InterCity 125s, it was therefore good marketing to deem these trains as InterCity 225. But of course, just like with the West Coast, the extensive signalling upgrades required were never delivered, and all UK trains, apart from HS1, remain limited to just 125 miles per hour. Sadly, even if the infrastructure was to be improved, these trains would not be upgraded to 140 miles per hour, as they are now considered life expired. Anyway, whilst I've been talking, the train has passed out of Yorkshire, through Nottinghamshire, over a little corner of Lincolnshire, and is now speeding towards the Cambridgeshire city of Peterborough and our last intermediate stop. And the rail freight yards and carriage sidings announce our arrival into Peterborough. And the Thameslink trains at Peterborough remind us that London is now just 50 minutes away over some consistently fast tracks. It's here that the speed of the 225 set and the comfort of those first-class Mark IV seats really comes into play as I slowly sink lower into my seat. I had a pretty early start in Devon this morning, and this is a lovely way to kick back and relax. Just north of Welwyn Garden City, we crossed the valley of the River Mimram on the 40-arch Digswell or Welwyn Viaduct. On the subject of cost, well, I rode this journey using my first-class Interrail ticket, but otherwise, advanced singles could cost £38.80 in second class and a whopping £83.70 in first class. I'm certainly pleased my Interrail ticket covered me for this one. However, a first-class off-peak single bought on the day could come in at an eye-watering £196.80. Sheesh! And soon we're passing that bastion of Premier League football before entering the tunnels for the approach to King's Cross itself. And what a great run that was, perfectly on time in really excellent comfort and with some very welcome onboard refreshments. You know, I shall certainly miss these trains when they're eventually replaced by the new ones that are on order from CAF. Oh, and whilst they turn the train around, let's have a quick walk through the standard class section. And here we are, maybe a little on the red side with the maquette, but the seats and the legroom make this a very acceptable standard class offering. Let's hope that those new CAF trains are not fitted with horrible ironing board seats that we seem to be always treated to these days. And here's the Class 91 beast that pushed us to London from Wakefield. Yeah, it was obviously going to be number 07, wasn't it? And for me, I shall be continuing my journey in the dark down to the south coast, where subsequently I will be crossing the Channel to France, using the ferry from Newhaven to Dieppe. And you can see that journey here But in the meantime, from London King's Cross, it's goodbye and thank you so much for watching.